did a lot of shows. That was one of the main things we did, was a lot of shows. Opening for different artists, doing some of our own shows, you know, whatever we was trying to get on any stage and show people what we were doing. That, and we had the goal of putting out our own music ourselves, which was like one of the first tapes was Hoods Back to Jam. And I think we were maybe like maybe a third or fourth artist locally to put something out, you know, independently. And just, you know, we tried to do something that was just a little bit different than everybody else was doing it. And we put like that confidence into what we were doing more than anybody else, I think, that would let us get on any stage at any time. We were, you know, doing a lot of shows.
How I remember it was we had been crushing and doing tons of shows, and we didn't know necessarily what was the next direction or where we were going to go next. And so it was a mixture of just, you know, kind of doing everything that you could do, mixed with overt, you know, disdain for the kind of culture and things we were doing. And just saying, you know, and all of us being from other places anyway, knowing that there's other things out there, we were like, man, we gotta go. So it wasn't really about Atlanta first, it was just like we got to dip. But through our peripheral networks of people that we were building with, whether it be other gods and earths or 5%ers, how I remember it, the whole concept around Atlanta came from a brother, C.I. Black Mind, who was from Nebraska, who was like, man, I've been to Atlanta. Because we were actually thinking, so should we go to New York? Well, I don't know, man, it might be expensive. I was like, well, let's go back to Cali. And I remember the thing was, nah, because that'll dissolve the group, because that's where you're from. And, you know, so let's go somewhere where nobody knows any of us.
Right.
And then let's go to Atlanta. And so I remember all of those conversations were happening. Because back in the days, we used to just kick it downtown. You know, downtown, we just, I mean, just randomly just walking, freestyling, kicking it, eating, talking. And I remember a lot of those conversations about where we're gonna go were formed there. And then once we all decided that's where we were gonna go, then everybody kind of like had their hand in their huddle, break. Right. And then everyone else kind of had their, okay, I'm gonna go off in my corner and try to figure out what my scheme is to get to Atlanta.
Right.
Some people's schemes work, you know what I mean? Like some people's boats was on point. It was like the Three Pigs, you know, somebody's house was made of wicker, somebody's house was made of steel, you know.
So like at that time I was actually going to music tech for recording engineering, and music tech is now McNally and Smith. So I was like, I just decided the day I was gonna move was when I graduated from McNally and Smith. From that point on, I was gone, you know, and it was like do or die. Like when I left, it was like, okay, now we gotta go. You know what I mean? Like one of us is leaving, the rest gotta come too, or I'm gonna be there by myself. You know, so I was actually down there about 6 months before everybody else came down, and I tried to, like, you know, set up a little shop for us, or, you know, do a couple things so that it would transition. Some of us went to school down there, you know, some of us went to hustle down there. So, you know, it wasn't an easy move, put it like that. Well, I mean, when you start from zero, it's start from zero. But when we came, we had a history and a skill set of things that we had done previously, so we were able to make like a bigger splash quicker, you know what I mean? Because all of a sudden people are like, you know, it was like in the underground scene, like, oh, these cats showed up from somewhere, but we already had like a history of doing shows and everything. So the first show we did, or the first, you know, appearance we made, it wasn't like we weren't brand new, you know, just trying things out. We already had our stuff together to really, you know, put things into effect. So that made it easier for us. But it wasn't easy though. But, you know, we were able to move a little quicker into, you know, making a presence and a name for ourselves.